Do you think it's over?
Yeah, sure.
Hello, welcome to the Skip Podcast. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Josh.
This is the fourth installment of Monster Month here at the Skip Podcast. You excited, Josh?
I'm very excited.
What episode number is this, Josh?
This is episode 30, Brandon.
Okay. No, Brando. Jiggles.
Sorry.
Today we're going to be doing Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Today is a very special episode because it was a request. We got a request for this movie from Fat Bob in Florida. Thank you, Fat Bob in Florida. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before we got into the movie?
Erectile dysfunction? No, I don't.
I don't know what to say about that.
I just made you try some hot mustard sauce since you made me try Taco Bell. What'd you think of that? Hot mustard sauce, I might add.
It was a spicy meatball. It was good. I liked it. We talked about that in our, what was it? Demolition Man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Demolition Man episode, which you can go back through the archives and check it out.
Yeah. Podomatic and YouTube. That was episode 26, if anyone's interested.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of cutting at the beginning of this.
Cutsies!
All right, so I guess we'll just jump into it then. Have you ever seen this movie before?
I have not. I've known of it, though.
All right, you got any trivia for us?
I have a little bit, not too much. Shall I begin?
You may begin.
All right, so today, yes, Killer Klowns from Outer Space from 1988 has a 71% in Rotten Tomatoes, and it was directed by Stephen Chiodo. It was written by Stephen and Charles Chiodo, and it was produced by Stephen, Edward, and Charles Chiodo. Stars Grant Kramer as Mike, Suzanne Snyder as Deb, John Allen Nelson as Dave, and John Vernon as Mooney. So this movie was made on a $2 million budget. The original title was just going to be Killer Klowns. They added from outer space so people wouldn't think it was a slasher movie. The Chiodo brothers had worked on special effects for other movies such as Critters and Ernest Scared Stupid. The Dickies, who performed the main song, didn't know anything about the movie except the title. Dave was originally going to die in the end. Producers wanted a more upbeat ending, so they changed it to make him live. The names of certain characters and things they did were based off real people the Chiodos knew. There's a deleted scene where Dave, Debbie, and Mike beat up on a clown. The giant clown dubbed Clownzilla was originally going to be stop motion. It was played by Charles Chiodo to save money. And the popcorn gun was the most expensive prop in the movie.
Okay. John Vernon is the only one that I recognize really from this movie. Maybe Deb. I may have seen her in something else.
Yes, I will talk about that. We both should have seen her in things.
Well, I'll give a brief synopsis for us.
Very well.
A group of young people are at the local makeout spot when a strange object flies overhead. A few of them are curious enough to break away from necking and track down the object, which has landed nearby. When they arrive, they realize it's something far stranger than a meteor, and their small town is being invaded by otherworldly creatures. They try to warn everyone and go to the police, but nobody believes them until the body count starts to rise. What movie am I describing?
The Blob?
I have a list of movies. That's a plot line used in Attack of the Eye Creatures. And yes, I said the twice. Invasion of the Saucermen, The Blob, Alien Trespass, Night of the Creeps, The Giant Spider Invasion, and probably many more. This movie is kind of an homage to all those 1950s movies that used pretty much the exact same plot or something really similar to it.
Yeah.
So, also, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. That is the plot. Okay, so what did you recognize Deb from?
Okay, she was in The Last Starfighter, Weird Science, Night of the Creeps. She was in Return of the Living Dead, but mostly I know her from Night of the Creeps.
Wow, okay, I just mentioned Night of the Creeps, and I've seen a few of those other ones, so yeah, I've definitely seen her before. Yeah, Curtis Mooney is his character's name, but John Vernon, I thought I had recognized him from everything, but when I look him up on Wikipedia, I'm looking at his selected filmography. Not a lot of it I've seen. I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff, and you always picture him as a bad guy. He was the dean in Animal House, and I could have swore he was in at least one of the Police Academy movies, and I wrote that down as a note while I was watching it. I don't see it listed anywhere on his filmography anywhere.
It's because you're wrong.
Some of the other movies that people may recognize him from is Airplane 2, Ernest Goes to Camp, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Okay.
There's a list, but if you look this guy up, you'll recognize him. He's the bald guy, and he always seems like a jerk in everything he's in. You've seen him before, yeah?
He looks familiar, yes.
Just looks familiar to you?
When I saw him, I didn't say, oh, I know this guy from...
He's very 80s. You'd associate him with the 80s.
Right.
So you had never seen this before?
Correct.
Tell me what you're expecting out of it.
About what I got.
About what you got?
Pretty
okay.
much, yeah.
I wouldn't consider this one as much of a horror as some of our other episodes.
I will say I thought it was going to probably be more grotesque. I assumed there would be a lot more bloody kills, but not really.
If I had to describe it in just one sentence, I would say it's a live-action cartoon.
Kind of, yeah.
Of course, it features creatures that resemble clowns. They aren't clowns. They just look like clowns.
Right.
So I guess that could be scary for some people. A lot of people say they're afraid of clowns. I'm not sure as many people are actually afraid of clowns as they say they are. I think some people just say that to be funny. But it's pretty tame for a horror movie. I think if it weren't for maybe just some bad language, it would be like a kid's movie almost.
Yeah.
I mean, there are parts that are kind of creepy. The clowns do look a little bit on the creepy side.
Yeah. Some of their expressions are
they've got exaggerated features, the big heads, big noses, and all that stuff, which clowns are supposed to. But if you see this, they're like all animatronic, like big puppets.
Yeah, they're huge.
A lot of them are really big, yeah. The movie starts off at Big Top Burger. I noticed that not only are the aliens in this movie clowns, but there's a lot of clowns throughout the rest of the movie. The
ice cream truck.
The fast food place and the ice cream truck. I think they're actually remaking this or making a new one.
From what I was reading, the Kyotos want to either do a movie or like a 4-part TV movie kind of thing.
That'd be cool. I don't know what they've been up to lately.
A lot. From what I was reading, they did a lot of effects stuff. There's a lot of movies you can see where they were either doing the animatronics or the just various things.
It's funny you mentioned they did Ernest Scared Stupid. I believe actually I had heard that some of the clown costumes were used in that movie as trolls.
Okay, I see that.
They were just painted over, but I saw the pictures of them. They're the same ones.
Yeah, and I think I saw like one of them had done some work on the '90s Land of the Lost, and
a
lot of TV
they do
shows.
like a lot of animatronic stuff then.
Right, a lot of that and stop motion they did and things like that.
It's probably a good thing that they didn't do the stop motion for the final encounter there.
Well, so one of the first things, did you hear that song? I actually I didn't love the song, but I kind of like, hey,
the little theme song.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Like, I didn't realize it was an actual song.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just part of the movie.
Right.
But yeah, I guess that's a real band doing a real song.
Yeah, I saw a video where they performed it in the last
As you would have
few years.
heard in our cold open. Yeah. The movie starts off, like I said, a bunch of kids over at a makeout spot. It's such a 1950s thing. I've never heard of a place where a bunch of people go and make out in their cars.
Well, I was reading that apparently one of the guys who I think his actual friend was named Mike Tobacco, he said he was like the ladies' man. He kept a bottle in his glove compartment. He had an inflatable raft that he would blow up
to
lay out. Like, all that stuff is based on people they knew.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, I thought it was kind of funny, the inflatable raft. I'm like, that's not a bad idea, I guess, if you want to lay in the back of your truck or something.
Yeah.
Except they were in the back of a station wagon.
Right.
Which it seems like that would be kind of a tight squeeze. Even though the back of the station wagon is big, but I mean, it has the roof over it.
Yeah.
That is a name, isn't it? Mike Tobacco?
I believe so, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it seems like such a 1950s concept. Yeah. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Like, have you ever heard of any place like that when you were a teenager or anything?
No.
There were places I used to go when I was a teenager where kids would go, but like not to make out or anything. At least I don't think so. One of them isn't too far from here. It's down by Lake Erie.
Okay.
And people would kind of go there and walk around, and it's kind of creepy at night.
Is that where you, me, John, and Katrina went?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
we did go out there. I used to just refer to it as the spot. Some people call it, I think, Point Moulet.
Okay.
So they see this thing fly overhead, and they all assume it's a meteor. Similar to all those other movies I listed. They go to check it out, but before they get there, the old man gets there with his dog. And that's another trope that shows up in these movies over and over again, is the grumpy old man.
Well, he wasn't grumpy to me, at least. He was just stereotypical, like, hee-haw guy.
Yeah, he's the type of guy that would be probably sitting on his
Hey,
porch with his dog.
Boomer, we're gonna be rich.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, they kind of did a twist on the grumpy old man thing. Instead of him being so angry about smoochers or anything like that, he sees the carnival tent, basically, is their flying saucer that landed. It looks like a carnival tent. And he's excited about it.
Yeah.
Which isn't what I expected at all. I expected him to be ticked off that the circus was in town or something. Like, oh, get off my property type of guy. So that wasn't the case at all. He's excited to see it, but then his dog disappears.
Yeah.
And he gets upset about that.
Yeah. Well, first off, rewind a little bit. I thought it was funny when the two brothers that ran the ice cream truck, they come to the makeout point and they're trying to sell ice cream. Like, do you see you think 50 people were throwing pop cans at them?
Uh-huh.
Like, there was just a parade of pop cans flying at them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, how could everybody have them that, like, ready or prepared to throw? It just was, that was kind of amusing to me.
Yeah, the movie is very cartoony.
Yeah.
For being a live action movie.
Pop cans.
Yes, pop, not soda. We're not sure exactly what soda is. It's some part of
It's
pop.
not soda pop. It's not Coke.
Not all Coke is Coke. Only Coke is Coke.
Yeah.
When we order Coke, it's Coke.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those characters were supposed to be kind of like the comic relief in a movie that's already filled with comedy. They were pretty funny. They had two goals throughout the movie. They wanted to sell some ice cream, which they never did.
Yeah.
And they wanted to score some chicks, which they kind of did.
Every man's dream.
We'll get to that later, I guess.
This is just one of the goofiest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Okay. I remember watching it maybe about 15, 20 years ago or so. I was kind of like on a 80s horror kick. Like, I just wanted to find old horror movies, ones that were creepy or original or, just something different than what they're doing nowadays. So I go back and I look at the ones through the 80s, and there's just so many gems back then, especially if you can enjoy a bad movie. Yeah, and I'm not saying that this one is bad.
It's both original and a ripoff.
I'd say it pays homage.
Yeah.
So, I remember seeing it back then, and I kind of was like, it was all right. It wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little bit of a different reaction this time. I actually found a lot of it quite entertaining. Like I said earlier, if it weren't for some bad language, it could almost be a kid's movie. I feel like it could have went either way.
Yeah. Had
they upped the gore,
then
it could have been more of an adult movie. But it's pretty tame other than that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So I thought it was funny. Like, everything was clown themed. Like, they went out of their way to make sure that every little thing was clown themed. Like, it wasn't just the aliens. Their spaceship that landed looked like a circus tent.
Yeah.
When it took off, it looked like a spinning top.
Yeah.
They had guns that shot. I think they had like some kind of like weird laser gun that would shoot like all these colors and stuff.
I know there was one that shot popcorn.
There's one that shot popcorn, and like even the popcorn is monsters. It's not actually popcorn. It looks like popcorn, just like the clowns aren't actually clowns. They're aliens that look like clowns.
Yeah.
But they had like these little popcorns that would become little worm-like monsters or something.
Yeah, with clown heads.
Yeah, and they had the inside of their ship. Deb and Mike go in. Mm-hmm. They find the circus tent. When they walk in, it's almost like a fun house inside.
Yeah, and then like part of it kind of looks like something Wonka would have, like a factory where like everything's very colorful and
and they get inside and they see like cotton candy. They see a ball of cotton candy hanging there, and it turns out that's what happened to the old man. And I don't know if his face is bloody or what, but they uncover the cotton candy, they move it aside, and there's his face, and it's covered with red.
Right. Could
be blood, could be some kind of like sugary thing that it's turning him into. Who knows?
Well, I think they're almost like vampires. They show the later one takes a straw.
What kind of a straw?
A silly, goofy, loop-de-loop straw. And starts sucking the blood out of him.
Something, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming.
I mean, it could have been like strawberry jam.
It could have been.
That I imagined, like, I didn't look at it. Like, I thought, oh, that's kind of gross. But at the same time, like, I bet that's sweet. We don't know exactly what their purpose was, except for to capture people and feed off of them, apparently.
Well, what's funny is some of them they killed, just straight up killed, and some of them they captured to turn them into cotton candy or whatever. And
I would imagine for fun. It seemed like they were having a lot of fun doing everything that they did.
Yeah, nothing. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm not going to look for too much in this movie, but it's just kind of. I noticed like certain people they just killed to kill.
Something that came up actually in the thing, and it came up again in this, and I was surprised. They brought up the ancient astronaut idea again. Like, what if
I did notice that.
Yeah, they said, what if the clowns we have today are just
based off
on
of what?
Yeah, these guys coming and visiting in the past.
That was kind of interesting. They even gave that much of
something
thought.
That doesn't really need an explanation because it's so silly.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, well, what if it's this? Yeah. They didn't say that's what it was, but it was almost said as a joke.
Right.
But I thought that was kind of funny that we just encountered that in the thing. The guy said the same thing. They basically owned South America, and now they're talking about how clowns were aliens from the past, and the clowns we have today are just images we have in our mind of that.
Right. Yeah. So the older guy, the cop, he was such a punk.
Yeah, let's
like
talk
just
about him.
Overkill. Like he didn't want to do anything. Like people are calling. I could see where at first you would think maybe people are just pranking him or something, but after you're getting like
he was
a million
so
calls, yeah,
and he thought that the whole town, the Terenzi brothers, I believe was their name. I can never understand what they're saying, so I got to look it up on IMDb here. Yeah, Terenzi, Terenzi. The Terenzi brothers were known practical jokers. They were friends with the main character Mike, Mike Tobacco, and everybody knew them as practical jokers. The main cop, the jerk cop, Mooney, just assumed that like all the clown reports and everything were people joking around trying to get him. He was very paranoid.
But I'm thinking like even if you, and again, this is probably putting way too much thought in this movie, but if you're thinking, okay, every people that you know are not pranksters are calling saying this weird thing is happening, you think you would take notice a little bit.
Okay. This is funny. I actually should have thought about looking this up before we started the podcast, but are you aware that like throughout history, there have been like reports of like crazy clowns, like in waves?
Well, I know there was one maybe 6 months ago where there was a big thing about people dressing up as clowns. And
yeah, recently, like in the past year or two, there's been reports of people dressing up like clowns and trying to lure people into the woods and stuff. Coincidentally, the good timing for this episode because it just came out in the theater. That has nothing really to do with what we're talking about.
No.
It's, well, kind of. I mean, he's an alien that takes the form of a clown from time to time. So anyway, but throughout history, like in the 80s, there was a huge clown wave. And before that, there was a huge clown wave, like in the 50s or something like that. I don't know what it is, but like it seems like every couple of decades.
Who's the serial killer that?
Gacy.
Okay.
Was it John Wayne Gacy, I think?
And what was his clown name?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. I was just watching something about
Fleshy.
about known the most notorious serial killers, and he was on that list.
Yeah. So it's weird that clowns pop up from time to time, like in the news as being a threatening thing. I don't know why that is. If anybody's curious about that, you should definitely go look it up.
Well, I mean,
it's interesting.
When people dress up as anything, I guess it doesn't really matter.
But like clown reports, like that's.
But when they're coming up and they're trying to, clearly it's people trying to scare other people. Like, you know, when you stand.
It's weird that it happens in cycles.
In a drive-through or something.
We're currently in a cycle.
Yeah.
It's just so...
Well, it seems like it's tamed down again, but I remember a few months back, there was a bunch of reports about clowns.
Yeah.
Where they would like walk through the drive-through.
I've never had an issue with clowns, have you?
Like being scared of them?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's kind of a silly thing. Like I can understand them looking creepy.
Yeah. Well, because they looked both kind of creepy, but kind of goofy. Like I mean, most of them were very tall.
Well, I'm talking about just even like a regular human clown in real life.
No, I don't find clowns creepy.
I don't know. I can see where somebody might think they look creepy, but being afraid of them.
I mean, I would be afraid of anyone coming at me with a knife or something, no matter what they looked like.
Well, just like people are afraid of clowns in general, though.
Yeah, like I don't want to walk in a room.
If anybody has a knife, I'm not going to want to mess with them. But just a clown in general, I've never found it. I don't understand the phobia. I guess people have.
What are you afraid of?
Me and both John and I are very arachnophobic.
Okay, hold on.
So
You guys are afraid of spiders?
Yeah, we're both very arachnophobic.
Okay.
And it's weird. It's not like even that kind of comes and goes. Like there are times where I can see a spider and just ignore it, or I can try and capture it in a cup or something and let it outside. There's other times where it's dead. I got to kill it.
Okay.
So smush it away. And then there's other times where I'll scream like a girl and run.
Yeah.
But it's weird like how it affects you differently just depending on who knows what.
Anything else? Big one for you?
I can't think of anything like...
I'm not just saying anything like, okay, spiders are obviously very real. Is there anything that you're afraid of that's technically a little more out there?
Well, all throughout my childhood, I was afraid of aliens. We talked about that in our Fire in the Sky episode. Go back to the archives and check it out.
Yeah.
And I think you know where I'm coming from with that one.
No, yeah, that was a scary.
Everybody that I know that's seen that movie when they were a kid has been terrified of it their entire life.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I can't stop watching it.
I can stop. I'm done.
All right, back to Killer Klowns.
Yes.
So how long does it normally take for you to take a shower?
At most, if I'm, because, okay, typically when I shower, you want a real answer or you just theoretical?
Well,
typically, if I'm like shaving while I shower, it might take 10 minutes max. But yeah, I was reading about that, how
10, 15 minutes. I think about 3 hours of movie time went by while Deb was in the shower.
Because she got back from, they reported to the police, they drop her off, then Mike and Dave go on. She goes in to take a shower, and yeah, by the time they cut back to her, she's just getting out of the shower.
Yeah, so what happened is when she took her clothes off to get into the shower, they don't show anything.
No.
There's no nudity in this movie, but the clowns were shooting the popcorn guns at them.
Right.
So she had some popcorn stuck to like her sweater or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Throws it in the hamper in the bathroom, goes in to take the shower. We see the corn scooting around. I actually thought those were really cool effects, like something as small as the popcorn.
Yeah.
To be crawling on the floor like that and look as good as it did. Like it didn't look jerky or anything.
No.
And then we see like the hamper shaking and all that kind of stuff. She finally gets out of the shower and these things have grown. They're kind of like tentacles. With the clown faces.
They're kind of like snakes with like spikes down their back with the clown heads.
Now,
different kind of clown heads.
They were trying to bite her, and one of them actually kind of got her shoulder, but I think
Yeah.
it may have just bit her robe or whatever.
Yeah, they were attacking her.
But I almost expected her to start to turn into a clown after that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you think anything like that?
No, I will say, if it's, I don't know if we should jump to it now, but when the clown gives the flowers to Mooney.
We can get to that in a second.
Sure.
Speaking of Mooney, he utters a line at the beginning of the movie. Let's see. He utters a line at the beginning of the movie when he's paranoid that everybody's out to get him. He says, "They're not going to make a dummy out of me."
Yes.
I wrote that down as soon as I heard it. And I know I'd seen it before, but I didn't remember anything about it. We'll get to that in a minute. I thought it was pretty funny. They came to get her. I don't know why they... It seemed like they knew she was important for some reason, and she's the only one that they didn't like murder or turn into cotton candy. She got stuck into a big balloon.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, why they did that to her.
I was watching this with somebody, and they asked me that while we were watching it, and I said, because she's the movie babe.
Yeah.
That's the only answer I had, really. She's got to stay alive for the movie. She tries to escape. She tries to go out the window, and they're out there waiting for her with a little trampoline.
Yeah.
Just like you would see like in a circus or something.
Right.
And they even had like that little fire truck.
Yeah, they had firemen. Yeah.
And all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I love that everything was so clown gaggy.
Yeah.
Like everything was a little clown gimmick. Even like they had a little car, and I don't even know why I didn't think of it, but you know, giant clown gets out. Oh, that's kind of funny. Giant clown in a little car. And then another one. And then another one. And then another one.
I was thinking, how much money did they have to spend on making, like, I mean, think about it. Like, for all this crazy stuff, like clown looking circusy, you know, big tent stuff, like a lot of money on just the goofiest looking stuff that you would probably never use again. Like, you know how some movies, they'll keep certain props or sets pieces and they'll like just put it in a warehouse, and other movies might be able to use it later. Like, it's such goofy looking stuff. And really, I don't think you could ever really use that stuff again.
Well, they did though with Ernest Scared Stupid.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like
a lot of the other stuff,
the hallways of the spaceship and the room where all the, you know, just everything's so exaggerated.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where I wonder kind of like what happens to it. I'm sure a lot of it ends up getting destroyed. But there's an episode of Mystery Science Theater called Village of the Giants, and in one of the scenes, there's a giant teenage girl. She picks up a guy and hangs the guy on her shirt.
Uh-huh.
So he's hanging there on this giant prop of basically her boobs.
Button. Oh.
So she's like, I mean, she's got clothes on and stuff, but it's a giant female chest, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, what would you do with that prop afterwards? Like, what did they do with that? Where is it now? It's pretty funny. But yeah, I wonder that stuff all the time too.
But then some of the effects were so cheap. Like just the most generic little goofy stuff, like, you know, like cotton candy, and it's just funny the contrast, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking up the budget right now for it. It was 1.8 million. Was that in your trivia?
I said it. What I found was 2 million.
2 million. Okay, well that's about the same.
Yeah.
So $2 million budget. It was a B movie for sure, but with that $2 million, they really made it stretch.
Oh yeah. I think
effects.
that, well, from what I was reading, they had the background where they did a lot of the clowns themselves, the brothers, from having background that kind of work. So that was kind of low.
Well, they didn't have to pay anybody to do that, but still, it costs a lot of money to build
the
those
materials. Yeah.
I mean, they were guys in suits, but at the same time, they were wearing these big like animatronic heads.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what was kind of ever so slightly creepy about them, is the weird expressions. They had that subtle expression where ultimately they didn't move a lot, but then sometimes they kind of would open their mouth. There'd be like sharp teeth and stuff. So it was kind of...
Their laugh was a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
It had that kind of synthesized sound a little bit to it.
Yeah. And then, like I said, they were tall. I think that's what helped. Them being taller than us for the most part. I think there was like one that was kind of short, but ultimately they were all really tall. And I think that kind of helped sell the... And I always think something like that, anything taller than you is kind of creepy.
Yeah, there were a few of them that were a lot bigger. Some of them were even shorter.
Yeah.
Was there a gag that was your favorite? I mean, we had like invisible motorcycles. We had the one pull up to there was a biker gang.
Yeah.
And the clown rode up to him on a tricycle.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff. Yeah, the kills were all creative. No, they didn't really repeat the same
hand
ones.
Puppets.
The hand puppet one was really good. I think that's what a lot of people remember the movie for.
That's before I ever saw this movie, I had seen that shot somewhere where he turns it to a Tyrannosaurus Rex and scoops it down.
Yeah, and even has glowing eyes.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was funny. That was you could tell that was like, I don't know how they did it back in the day. Maybe
it looks like it. I don't know. I'm not even sure.
When they have cartoons in a live action movie, like it always looks a certain way. That's what it looked like. Like just the shadow part was cartoony.
Right.
And he was doing all sorts of things like a bunny, but it like looked like a bunny.
But he did like where a woman was dancing, and there was George Washington on the boat.
And it's just a bunch of people at a bus stop, and they're all clapping and cheering for the clown. And then he gets the T-Rex out, and the T-Rex just eats them all. Yeah. Where he knocked the biker's head off. That one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Mooney. Okay. So Mooney is like upset, raging this whole time. Clown comes into his office.
Yeah.
They had thrown the two drunk guys in the cell before that.
Yeah. There was two like kids that he was giving a hard time.
You know, even though those
because they were walking.
Well, they were drinking in public, which is, you're not supposed to do that.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
But they seemed like nice kids, and he was being so hard on them. They definitely had like a good cop, bad cop thing going, except for the other cop was kind of a jerk too.
Dave?
Yeah. You don't think so?
I can't think of an example. Like, how was he a jerk?
He was being kind of a jerk to Mike.
Really?
Yeah, because Deb was his old girlfriend.
I see. I didn't get that impression. I actually thought he was pretty cool about it, considering because even Mike was like, "Look, dude, I didn't know you dated her first."
Well, he took his job more seriously. I mean, he wasn't a bad guy, but he did come off as a little bit of a.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just personally didn't get that vibe, but continue.
Okay. So anyway, the worst of the two cops, definitely, Mooney. Yeah, just all throughout the movie, he's being cruel to everybody. He's ready to shoot people almost at the drop of a dime.
Yeah.
The clown comes in. He's ready to shoot the clown. That was really funny when the clown comes in. I actually thought that clown looked like him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit in the face.
Okay. I didn't notice that, but I was going to say, so he sticks out his hand with a bouquet of flowers, and it shoots liquid in his face. I thought for sure it was going to be like acid or something. His face was going to melt off.
The movie is more goofy than that, though. Like, there's no really super violent or gore moments like that, but like, apparently people die. I was waiting at the end of the movie to see like, well, how do they rescue the town? But that didn't.
They didn't. Yeah, I was waiting for that too. I thought for sure somehow they were going to save the townspeople.
So
they all blew up. Maybe they were already dead in the cocoons.
I don't know. So he arrests that clown, and it was funny.
The clown went along with it too. Yeah,
the clown just went along with it. He's playing along. A lot of times they played along with what people were doing with them until like it was time to get them.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny. His hands are behind his back. He puts the things on him, and his hands just come off. He's got no hands anymore.
Yeah.
They're still in the cuffs, but his arms are free of his hands.
Yeah.
But the clown still keeps his arms behind his back and walks to the cell like he's still handcuffed.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a funny cartoon to me.
Right.
Well, Dave comes in later, and what happens to Mooney?
Well, he has turned into a ventriloquist dummy.
Yep.
But I kind of thought...
He made a dummy out of him.
Yeah, and I get the irony there. I thought they were going to do something bigger with that. Because he was basically like the secondary villain to the clowns themselves, I thought for sure there was going to be a big kill scene for him, or a more comedic.
I feel like that one was pretty appropriate.
Yeah, I guess I expected that they were going to do something.
Well, one of the things about that scene is when he was done making a dummy out of him.
Yeah, like
he pulled his hand out of the back, and you could hear it glooping and stuff, and then you just think like, where was his hand?
I'm assuming in his back.
It was either in his back or up his butt, and either way,
yeah.
Either way, that's kind of gross imagery. They didn't actually show it.
And then there's all these like clearly stickered huge red footprints all over the police station, which was so goofy.
Yeah. And they're going up the walls and stuff.
Yeah, I was just like, what is going? Like, it's goofy. There was one point where I can't remember which one. It was just one certain clown. He kind of reminded me of I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, the Solari brothers from Ghostbusters 2, the two guys they gave the
killer. I did think of that.
Something about their face just ever so slightly reminded me of that.
That movie came out, I believe, after this one, because wasn't that 1990?
It was. I know in the movie at the very end it's New Year's, so I don't know if they released it.
Well, what year did the movie come out?
Oh, this movie?
Ghostbusters 2.
Like I said, I can't remember. I think it was 89.
I wonder if they either worked on that or used the clowns, because they looked really similar.
Yeah,
because those ghosts they had kind of similar features where they're just like exaggerated, the big heads.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was. Did you look them up?
It is 89. Ghostbusters 2.
Did you say that they worked on Ghostbusters?
I didn't see anything about that specifically. Okay. Not to say they didn't, but
well, okay. Thinking back now, there is actually one scene that's kind of a little bit like violent or gory.
Okay.
And I forgot about it for a second. What are you going to do with all those pies, boys? The security guard?
Oh, where they throw pie and like it's acid or something. It just kind of melts.
Yeah, they throw all these cream pies at him and like, it's funny. And then the guy falls down. Well, when Deb and Mike and Dave get there, they find the skeleton of the security guard sitting in the middle of the cream.
Yeah, I did forget about that.
So there's a human skeleton. That's about as
I think
so.
It gets. I think so. Yeah.
The Terenzi brothers just can't seem to die. They're there throughout the whole movie with their ice cream truck.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny the way that they tried to trick the clowns at the end. They drive their ice cream truck into the eventually flying saucer. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, it was like almost like if it was a circus, it would be the main ring of a circus. If you were
and they have this huge clown head sitting on top of their ice cream machine, and they have their megaphone. They're like, "We're the clown, boss or whatever.
Yeah.
Let these guys go." And they all seem distracted by it for a second.
Yeah,
until
they did kind of react. They left them alone and gave them a chance to get down from the like drums, and
that's when Clownzilla comes.
Yes.
Clownzilla is probably 20 feet tall. He comes down at first as a marionette, which I loved. I loved that. I thought that was the coolest thing. Yeah. The special effects for that were really good. Like the way he was interacting with the truck and stuff. I'm sure the truck had to have been a miniature.
Sure. Yeah.
I couldn't really tell.
No, it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was some really good stuff. I was just laughing throughout this whole movie. The person I was watching it with, I was watching it with Kelsey.
Yeah.
And at first she was like, "What is this movie?" Questioning it. And then just after a while, you're laughing because, how can you not laugh at it? It's just so silly.
Well, what I thought was funny is when Dave says, get out of here, I'll hold them off. Now, he already found out the secret to their undoing is the nose.
Yes, they have one weakness, is their nose.
He has a gun, and he's just kind of holding him off. And I was like, dude, at least try to aim for the nose. Like, if you know it, why not do it? And I thought that was just kind of dumb that he...
What did you think about the nose being the weak spot?
With a movie like this, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Really, again, there's, like I said, like, why is it certain people they killed and some people they took back to turn them into cotton candy? There's no point in really searching for too much rhyme or reason of why or why not. It's just not that type of movie, and it's not worth the time.
Right.
It's so goofy, it's so out there. Now, yeah, that's fine.
Did Brittany, she didn't watch this, right?
No, she's out of state right now.
Okay. I want to get her to watch one of these.
Yeah.
It might be too late now, though. because we're recording this one.
Yeah.
We're going to immediately record the next one because we watched them both.
Yeah.
And then we're planning on one more. So there's 3 movies left,
Mm-hmm.
this and 2 others.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we only have the one more to watch.
Right. Yep.
So Monster Month is almost over. I'm kind of sad. Have you been enjoying it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. Out of all these movies, I've only seen our next one before. I think every other movie that you've had me watch.
Oh, you have seen? Oh, the next one we're going to record?
The next one we're going to record is the only one I've seen before.
We're being so mysterious. But you got to stay tuned to find out what they are. You know what I was thinking about it? We didn't actually have a big variety in our monsters for Monster Month this year. Yeah. We had a werewolf, a demon, an alien, more aliens. Next one is ghost demon. What would you say?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like some kind of, in a way, it's like
it's a mixture of things almost.
In some ways, it's kind of ghost, and some people.
And then you don't know anything about our last one, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, don't look anything up.
No.
So, yeah, was there anything that kind of caught you off guard about this movie, or that really?
I assumed it was going to be more gross. I just thought, it's an '80s movie. Obviously, it seems like a lot of the big horror movies were 80s,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of them were typically pretty bloody. I was really shocked that it wasn't. So, the kills were, like I said, even the grossest thing, it's still very tame. So yeah. I was just kind of surprised by that. There was no craziness like that. It was just a really goofy, crazy movie. It's a weird concept.
Yeah.
But no.
Is there anything else you want to add to it? This might be a shorter episode, I think.
It might be. Yeah, it was a fun movie. I've definitely seen worse movies.
It's a very colorful movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it should be.
Not only is it like everything that's going on the screen fun to watch, but like the way that the colors are in the movie, like everything is fun to look at.
Yeah.
It's candy for your eyes.
Yeah.
In a way. The giant clown. One last thing I want to bring up about him is like he looked a little bit different than the clowns. His mouth kind of stuck out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he almost reminded me of an alligator. He was a little more
monstrous.
Yeah.
They made him a little more monstrous, which was a good idea. I don't know if he was their leader or he would be just their secret weapon, or what. But yeah, he was a little more monstrous looking.
So at the end, there's a big explosion. Basically, the whole town is in that UFO.
Yeah.
Including our heroes. There's a gigantic explosion. They somehow hid inside of the clown car.
Yeah.
And the clown car lands in front of the police from all these different areas of whatever state they're in.
Yeah, at one point, I think Dave
they had gotten a message out.
Yeah, he says, go back and call for the state police.
Yeah.
So whatever state they're in. I know they filmed in California. I don't know if it's set in California, though.
Okay, so our heroes, the 3 of them, 5, managed to...
Well, hold on. Dave came separately, right? I can't remember how because what was the brothers? I forgot their name.
The Terenzi brothers.
Terenzi brothers. They fell. They were in their ice cream truck?
Yes.
But Dave landed in the clown car, right? I think he came separately, and then the brothers came separate from that, I thought.
I have a hard time remembering right now off the top of my head. But yeah, the 5 of them survive, and basically they're the only ones that survived. But then you get like this happy music, and they're all happy. They're not sad about anything. Literally everybody in their town just died. Like the death toll is huge in this movie.
Yeah.
Everybody got murdered, but they treat it as though it was a happy ending. And then when you said that in the notes.
Which part?
The part where, like Dave wasn't supposed to make it or something. And then they're like, well, we wanted it to be a happy ending.
Yeah.
Everybody's dead.
Yeah. But at least the people that we get to know.
Like I thought maybe they were going to find a way to rescue them or revive them.
I thought so too.
Out of the
I did think.
But no, there's like giant explosion.
Yeah. What did they do again to make I'm trying to remember what caused the ship to blow up? That's the part for some reason I can't remember.
I can't remember either off the top of my head because I remember like all the goofy parts.
Cutsies.
After Jojo destroys the ice cream truck, apparently killing Terenzi's, Dave creates a distraction while Mike and Debbie are able to escape the structure. The tent begins to spin and rises into the air, revealing it to be a massive spaceship. Back inside, Jojo grabs a hold of Dave, who removes his police badge and uses it to destroy the clown's nose. Jojo explodes.
Okay.
Destroying the entire ship along with him.
Okay. Because the cop was able to kill the one clown.
Yeah.
That clown, in turn, blew up to...
Makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So, pros, cons?
I can't really give it any cons because...
It's hard to grade this one.
Yeah, it's hard to grade because there's certain movies you watch and it's clear they were trying to make a good movie.
Yeah.
But failed miserably. And there's some movies that, they have shortcomings, but there's for some reason I still see the potential in it and I kind of like it. This movie, it seems to me they set out to make exactly what they wanted.
Would you recommend it for a Halloween party or?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. There's, it's not overly grotesque and actually it's not grotesque at all. It's not too bad. So yeah, there's, All
right. This is what I wrote down for pros. I said, it's a fun homage to 1950s B movies.
Yeah.
The clown twist on it is fun.
Yeah.
The kills are fun. Everything they do is silly and entertaining. The only con I wrote down was it's almost kind of in the middle where it can't decide whether it wants to be kind of either way, it's going to be silly and funny.
Yeah.
But they can't decide if they wanted to take it in a more adult direction or take it in a more kid-friendly direction. And it's kind of down that middle road there.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's definitely middle because I can't think of too many things they did that was overly too adult.
Yeah, like I said, if you have a 10-year-old, that maybe a 10-year-old could watch it.
Yeah.
It's not going to probably scare too many people.
I wouldn't think so. Maybe not 10. Maybe you want to wait a little later.
When I went out and bought, I went to Best Buy. Best Buy recently had these DVDs. I showed you a picture of them.
Yeah.
I got a few of them. The only one that was sold out, and they all had special artwork by the same guy. I ended up getting Carrie, Return of the Living Dead, and The Fly.
Yeah.
And they had a few other ones there. And the only one that was sold out was Killer Klowns from Outer Space. You can find the Blu-ray for this movie cheap. It might be sold out depending on where you go. But there's a guy that did some special artwork for a bunch of different horror movies. They were all over the place. The Fly that I got, it was the 1980s version of The Fly.
Okay.
Carrie, I think, was in the 70s.
Yeah. I want to say 76.
Killer Klowns is an 80s movie. 88. 88.
Okay.
And but some of them were newer, Wrong Turn.
I think I remember that movie. Was that where they're out in the woods?
I never saw it. So I'm not sure. I was thinking it was the one that had it was the killer as a semi-truck driver or something, but I don't know.
Okay.
Either way, so what would you score this movie?
Oh, gee. A C+.
C+, okay. I was originally going to give it a C+, but then after thinking about how much fun I had with it, I bumped it up to a B-.
Okay. I was thinking about a B-.
About the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining movie. I'd recommend it for anybody as long as you don't have a clown phobia.
Yeah.
Looks like we're pretty much at our next destination. We have another thing to do here.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Escape Podcast is making some short stops this week in our Escape Pod. Give us a few moments and we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening. Jiggles!